Boxing truth here. Let's talk about Bump Squad for a little bit. Bump Squad in the news. Deontay Wilder, chump ass, who don't want to fight nobody, who let some prospect jump ahead of him, who let some fighter who competed the Olympics after him already surpass him in terms of accomplishments and what he's done in his career. Anthony Joshua shitting all over Deontay Wilder. Wilder looking like a chump, looking like a major paper champion who don't do shit, has more than double the fights of Anthony Joshua, and Wilder's wondering why none of the former champions respect him. He's wondering why people are not mentioning him when it comes to Anthony Joshua's next fight. It's because Bump Squad is irrelevant right now. Bump Squad needs to do something. He needs to do something to actually for people to have interest in his career. He needs to do something significant. He needs to step up already, even though he has over 35 fucking fights in his career. He needs to do something to make the fight even interesting with AJ. For people to even show attention to this matchup. Right now, the fight in heavyweight division to be made is Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. That's the biggest fight that could be made in the division. It'll be a bigger fight than what happened against Klitschko. That's a fight that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom really want. And that's a fight that they're really going to push for, since that's the biggest money fight out there for Anthony Joshua. Wilder, that he's part of the plan, but he's really just a stepping stone for Anthony Joshua. Showtime wants Joshua to come to the States, build his name there, and maybe even have the Wilder Joshua fight in the U.S., if possible, on U.S. pay-per-view. That's the plan. But Bump Squad need to do something to build this fight up. He needs to do something to make the fight more exciting, for people to look forward to, and for people to pay attention. But Bump Squad don't do shit. He calls out people, but who gives a fuck? I don't give a shit about call-outs. Nobody cares about that. Chris Eubank calls everybody out, but does he fight anybody? No. And Wilder, he calls people out, but ends up fighting handpicked the cannon fighter within the WC rankings. So why don't you explain that? The Wilder fanboys need to stop dick riding. Your boy is trash. Your boy don't fight nobody. Bump Squad is a disgrace right now to American boxing. Mike Tyson shitting all over him. Mike Tyson ain't hating. He just spitting the real. The boy ain't ready for a top heavyweight. We all know that. As soon as the boy fights a top heavyweight, Bump Squad gonna get chinned. And he's gonna get exposed for what he is. Just a manufactured champion who's been gifted a belt, won't defend it against anybody credible, and is just prolonging his reign to make the most money, then finally get a cash out fight where he gets knocked the fuck out. But in the meantime, while Bump Squad is waiting for the Anthony Joshua opportunity, because that fight most likely will happen. If it will happen before Fury or after Fury, that's the question. There's a good chance it could happen before Fury. But there's a lot of obstacles in the way now for Wilder to get that fight as soon as possible. Joshua has a rematch clause with Klitschko. It depends on if Klitschko wants the rematch. He looks like he wants it not right now, but that could change in a month's time. It will all depend on what Klitschko wants to do. If he wants the rematch, he's going to get the rematch, because there was a big fight. It was a great fight, and it'll be another huge event in England. So that's most likely going to be Joshua's next fight, if Klitschko is keen to do the rematch. If not, then mandatories will get in the way. And Joshua, if he doesn't fight Klitschko next, will probably fight Pulev to defend his IBF strap. And now that Joshua is just a 2-time-a-year fighter, since that big win, now he's a huge star now. He's one of the faces of boxing. He's just going to be a 2-time-a-year fighter. So there's going to be less time to get an opportunity against Joshua and Wilder. He needs to fight somebody fucking credible. Needs to fight a worthy opponent. Needs to show that he's a legitimate champion, which he hasn't done yet. Fights, do something, bro. Fight fucking Tony Bellew. Fight a name or something. Be in a significant fight, a significant prize fight where people will actually pay attention. People will pay attention in that fight. Some people will hate on you, saying you're cherry picking a small guy, but it's a fight that makes sense. Go over to the UK, get a little feel over there. Fight a name fighter in Tony Bellew, get a little payday, and it's a fight that you'll most likely be favored in. It will be an interesting fight. Be the most interesting fight of your fucking career if you was to fight Tony Bellew. You called out Joseph Parker, but nobody fucking cares. Okay? Why would Joseph Parker fight you in July when he just had this whole fucking training camp for the past 10 weeks only for his fight to get canceled? Do you think he's going to cancel his date that he was training for and not get paid? So he should just cancel all the work that he did, waste all the money that he spent for training expenses, not go through with his planned date and not get paid, and just go straight to you after all that work that he put in for that mandatory defense that was canceled against Hughie Fury. Nah, he's not going to do that. And obviously he's going to be fighting this weekend against a voluntary opponent. So you're going to have to wait in line for that. Now, the WC enforced a pointless mandatory on you, a rematch with Stavern. They've also scheduled a fight between Robert Hernandez and Derek Chisora for the silver title. According to Sutherland, the promoter for Hernandez, I believe, the winner of that fight, who becomes a silver champion, will eventually get a shot at Wilder. So, that could be a potential opponent for down the road. If you have to fight Stavern again, it is what it is. You're going to have to fight him again. Maybe you can get an exemption. Maybe you can fight somebody else. I'm trying to figure out a path for you, Bumsquad. If you don't have to fight Stavern, and if you can get an exemption from the WC, then the Chisora Hernandez winner will do. It'll be okay. It'll be decent. Tony Bellew will be definitely a strong option. But that won't happen until later in the year, since Bellew is recovering from an injury, still figuring out what he wants to do. I believe he wants to fight again. But he's an option on the table. Joshua, I think, is off the table for the rest of the year. That fight won't happen until, if it does happen, between Wilder and Joshua until 2018. So, I don't know, Wilder, you gotta do something, bro. You gotta make yourself relevant, because right now you're irrelevant. Nobody talking about you. Nobody gives a shit. Only your dick riding fanboys are talking about you, discussing you. You need to do something first before I put any attention on you about you fighting Joshua. You need to fight somebody worthy. You need to do something significant. You need to do something to build this fight up, to build interest in the fight. Because right now, nobody gives a shit about you, man. Bumsquad is irrelevant in the heavyweight division. And Bumsquad will stay irrelevant until he fucking does something. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.